I would like to hand over to Moses Kitao, so that you can start us off. Moses, karibu.
Thank you.
Sarah, I'm sorry, I can't see the presentation. I'm not sure if others can.
Millicent, at some point I saw, and now I cannot see.
Okay, let me do it again.
I cannot see it, Sarah. As you do it, maybe you could start. And thank you, team, for joining us. And
Moses, your sound, we can't quite hear you.
you can't hear me? Can you hear me now?
Better. That's better now.
Thank you. Good morning, team.
Good morning.
I think as a tradition of the bank, I would want us to start with a short prayer through Peter Ndumia. Peter, you could pray for us shortly. I think we are saying a prayer and we say amen. I think Peter has finished the prayer. And this is Moses Getau, Head of Business Banking, Cooperative Bank. And on behalf of Cooperative Bank, I would want to appreciate our customers, to thank our customers for joining this virtual meeting or training. Welcome all. It's the first among many that as a bank we want to be running in terms of the meetings the trainings and the meetings that we hold with our customers virtually based on the circumstances we are in as a people. The program we ran for 1.5 hours. I think I just need to say maybe 1.5 hours. And today's session is quite critical in terms of what we'll share. And just to give a preview of what we'll share is number one, we'll discuss about the interventions and the support that the bank is offering its business customers during this period. And more importantly, as a second agenda, we'll be discussing, and Sarah will take us through some training in terms of surviving today to thrive tomorrow. So again, on behalf of Cooperative Bank, I welcome you all. Please feel free to engage. And at the end of the session, or in the middle of the session, we'll be taking some feedback in terms of questions and answers. So at this juncture, I would want to invite Sarah, who will take us through surviving today to thrive tomorrow. Sarah?
Thank you very much, Haggai. Next slide. So once again, welcome. Next slide, Haggai. Thank you. As Moses has told us, we are gathered here. The slide before, Haggai, the slide before, so that we can consider how we can survive today to thrive tomorrow. And I'm so happy to have you in this webinar. I can see that there's a very good representation from different places in the country. I can see people from Mombasa, Kilifi, Tharaka Nithi, and so on. And it's really so wonderful for us to be able to use technology to come together so that we can grapple with what we are going through. We all know that we're going through the COVID-19, and I want to thank you very much for taking your time, away from all the stresses, just to join us so that we can be able to move forward. I would like to bring to your attention that we are going to be recording. We will be recording our session today, and just for quality control purposes. Next slide, Haggai. Next slide. So let's start off the previous slide. Let's start off our engagement by envisioning our businesses. And as we go through COVID-19, it is important. I know that we are business people, sisi ni wanabiashara, and that's what we know how to do best, just running our businesses. But can you see your business thriving in this pandemic? In the COVID-19 pandemic, are you able to see that? And I want to give you an opportunity. Let's just do a little exercise together where I will ask you to close your eyes and to dream. I will allow you to dream. And dream, in your dream, I would like you to imagine your business thriving during this COVID-19 pandemic. This is one of the very interesting times that as a teacher or as your instructor for these few minutes, I will actually allow you to close your eyes. So I'm looking for my timer. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to close your eyes and see a vision or a picture or a dream of your business thriving during this time of the pandemic? Please close your eyes starting now. Good. So our 30 seconds are over, and I would like you to open your eyes. When you open your eyes, somebody tells me that whenever ukienda kulala na ukuwe na ndoto, it's very important to have a pen and paper right there next to you. And immediately you wake up, you need to capture, what did I dream about? I want to invite you to go to the chat box and write down, tell me, what did you see? What picture did you see of your business thriving during this time? I'm looking at your chat box. What did you see? I'll invite volunteers to go to the chat box and tell me, what did you see? What did you see? What did you see? It's very important to see a clear picture, ladies and gentlemen, of your business surviving. Because they say that your picture is your future. And then if we're saying that your picture is your future, it's very important that you see clearly. Thank you very much, Fatma. I have Fatma online, and she's saying that what she saw is increased sales. Ameona biashara yake inaongeza mauzo during the COVID-19. Fatma also says that I see an improved environment. That is what Fatma says. So what we are saying is that for you as a business person, wewe kama mwanabiashara, you need to be able to clearly see your business, especially during this time. Thank you so much, Idris. Idris from Mombasa, I believe. Idris says, I am dreaming. What he's seeing is having more than one branch. He's seeing different branches, and he's seeing much sales. I saw another wing of my business with specialty clients. Thank you so much, PC. Elsie Wanja is saying, I saw a fleet of trucks. Thank you so much for that. Millicent Agai, presentation. So basically what we are saying is that it is very important that you have a dream. And in that dream, you need to see clearly. And I'm so happy to see that you can see clearly. Eric, thank you so much for joining us from Kimilili. Next slide. What do we want to do in the next few minutes? Next slide. We have an agenda for you. In the next few minutes, we want to look at, I'll start off very quickly with some introduction, and then we will consider this idea of profit, faida. Then we want to understand, is there a difference between profit and profitability? Once we have done that, in order for you to open branches, more branches, in order for you to make, more sales and so on, we are always keeping our eye on the ball. As business people, we always keep our eyes on the ball. And what is the ball? Profit. So I'll give you some tips of what you can do as a business person to ensure that you increase your profits, even in the face of the COVID pandemic. And then number 3, tutafunga tukiangalia different options. What options do I have right now? So at the end of this webinar, you should be able to do 3 things. Number 1, you should be able to tell anybody who was outside of this webinar, kikuuliza, I was trying to reach you, I couldn't reach you, and you will tell them I'm in a webinar. You should be able to explain to them the difference between profit and profitability. You should also be able to explain to somebody what is the difference between profit, sales, and cash. Kuna tofauti gani baina ya faida, mauzo na cash, pesa. Then I'll give you some tips of how you can control your costs, how you can increase your sales in the face of COVID-19, and how you can also look at your pricing options. So that's what we want to do. Next slide, please. So this webinar is going to help you to do three things. Number one, to adjust. It is very important sisi kama wanabiashara to be able to adapt to the changes that are taking place in the environment. And now we are going through COVID-19. Nobody saw it coming. It is affecting our businesses, but we have to make certain adjustments. Number two, there are perhaps opportunities that are presenting themselves in the marketplace as a result of COVID-19. The question is, can you see those opportunities and what are you going to do about those opportunities? Alafu ya mwisho, it is very important for us as business people to be able to plan for the future. So we cannot just say now our businesses have come to a standstill, hatujui kama tunasonga mbele, kama tunarudi nyuma, uko pale pale. No, it's very important for you as a business person to plan for the future. So there are some words there on your screen. And these are the words of a lady. She's called Barbara. Barbara is an American lady. And why are we even talking about her? Because this is a global pandemic. It is affecting us in this side of the world. It is affecting everybody, even across the counties and so on. So these are the words of Barbara. She says that in the face of COVID-19, this is a chance for you as a business person to breathe in and put together a plan. As a business person, wewe kama mwanabiashara, it's very important that you are able to see your business clearly today, 3 months from now, and going into the future. Next slide. The next slide is telling us that as we are thinking about planning, we are saying planning is very important. Ukianza kufanya hiyo mpangilio yako, lazima ujiulize, where am I right now? And then where do I want to go? And then where can I see far into the horizon? That's what we need to do when we talk about planning. So when you're thinking about planning, utajiuliza right now, what are the key concerns? Right now, in the face of COVID, we're talking about protecting ourselves, protecting our employees, protecting our family members, sanitizing, washing our hands, observing social distancing, and so on, adhering to the curfew and all those things. But in addition to that, as a business person, mpaka ukae chini, ujiulize, how am I going to survive? Labda ulikuwa umeweka kitu kidogo mahali fulani. You need to now see, how can I control that? Because nobody knows how long COVID is going to take. So don't worry so much about the information there, because we are going to give it to you by way of a handout. Your relationship manager will reach out to you. So begin to think about the impact of COVID right now, where you are according to your business, and begin to act. And then say, in the next 3 months or so, how am I going to continue in business? Do I have maybe do I need to change my business model? And then in the foreseeable future, nitafanya nini? So don't worry about this. We're going to give you this slide. Next slide, please. Let us start off by just agreeing on some ground rules. How are we going to behave even as we continue to engage? Number one, I would like to encourage you to participate. So when I ask you a question, please just go to the chat box. Let's talk. It is important that we do that, because the more you engage me, the more you get out of it. Two, let us put the premium of respecting each other. Sio kila kitu tutasema hapa utakubaliana nayo, but take what you can. Now we implement in your business. And then what you cannot, just pack it aside. Maybe that was for somebody else. So let's respect each other. Let's mute our phones. Now, I would like to ask you, get your paper and pen. Many things I'm going to say, make sure that you capture them so that you are able to act on them. Next. In the beginning, we had asked you to introduce yourselves, and I can see the feedback is still coming in. Thank you, Jackie Karibu from Kajiado. Kuna mtu Philip is coming from Utawala, and so on. Please tell us what are the goods and services that you are providing? Because the reason why you're in business is because you are giving a customer out there a solution. So what are those goods, or what are those services that you're offering? And as you do that, I'll tell you something about myself. My name is Sarah Mbinchi. And I am a business person just like you. I've been in business for the last 20 years, doing consulting and also training. Out of those 20 years, 15 of them I have worked with SMEs. And I am an SME myself, so we understand, how to guide our businesses. Bank has been a client of ours, and we did some work for you some time back in 2017, where we were looking at customer relationship management. So I'm not new to Bank. Let's move on to the next slide. Now let's start off by looking at where the rubber hits the road. Let's do a small refresher on profitability. Profitability ni nini? Next slide. Now, when we talk about profit, sisi kama wanabiashara, hiyo terminology faida is very important for us, because when you do business, lazima ubaki na kitu mfukoni. So what is profit? Profit is what you are left over. What is left over in your business, or in your bank account and so on. So the reason why we do business, you have a certain product, a certain service that you're offering to a customer out there. When you offer that product or that good, you get money in exchange. Now that money, unajumlisha hiyo pesa yote, that's what we are saying is your total income. But as you go about your business, it is normal for you to spend. And when you spend, you commit the money to certain things that you are doing to advance your business. At the end of it all, you need to ask yourself, do I have something left over? Nikikuuliza sasa hivi, do you have something left over? I'm asking about the profit. Now, of course, profit, we all know, because we are in business. And I know we have been in business for, a different length of time. But there's another level. Yes, you can consider profit, but there's another level called profitability. So what is profitability? In front of your screens, you can see that you can break that word profitability into two words. So you have profit and ability. So what is profitability? Profitability is the ability of your business to generate profits in your business. Sasa hiyo sio kubahatisha. There's something that you are doing as a business owner to ensure that you are conscious, that you're making decisions that will help you to register a profit yesterday, today, tomorrow, and so on. Now, this profitability, ama kwa Kiswahili tunaweza kusema profitability, ni ile uwezo wako wa kuzalisha faida. I'm using language interchangeably because I know I'm seeing some of us are coming from Kilifi, Mombasa. Kiswahili is our national language, so that we are comfortable. And also, if you have questions in Kiswahili, you can write them in the chat box. Haga is there, and he will help me to filter out. Profitability ni uwezo wako wa kuzalisha faida, and that's something that you need to consider even right now in the face of COVID. How strong are you? How able are you to continue running your business and making profits? Now, they normally say that what you cannot measure, you cannot manage. Anything that you can't measure, you are most likely not to be able to manage. Haggai, kindly help me by muting the mics. Huh? So there is Haggai, kindly help me by muting the mics. Now,
Sorry.
Profitability. Yes.
Sarah, kindly unmute yourself and share the content.
Okay. I can see in front of me, yes. So the profit margin is just one of those ways that we can measure this thing called profitability. Now, profit margin, we are saying it is the percentage portion of profit in every shilling that you sell. Profit margin kwa Kiswahili tunaweza kusema ni asilimia ya kiwango cha faida kwa kila shilingi ya mauzo. That's how you measure it. So what are we saying? We are saying that we have to be conscious about or intentional about making profits in our business. Let's go to the next slide, please. Next slide. In the next slide, tunataka kujiuliza sasa, what is the difference? Is there a difference between before? Just go 2 slides back. There. Now, we want to look at, we have understood what profit is, and we have also understood what profitability is. Now, let's look at profit vis-a-vis sales and cash. So let's move systematically. What is the difference? Is there a difference between profit and sales? Saa zingine, people think that it is one and the same thing. That sometimes maybe when you're talking about profit, mtu anafikiria you're talking about mauzo, which is sales. So what is the difference? Profit, we have said, is a calculation. Take your total income, remove your expenses. If you're left with something, that is what we're calling a profit. But sales, on the other side, is a type of income. And this is income that you get specifically because you have sold a certain good, a certain service. So uko na kibanda yako pale, you're doing wholesale, you're doing retail, you're selling a certain service. When you sell that service to a customer, that's what we are calling the sales, whether you have collected it or not. The second difference is that sales is the proof that you have actually made that sale. So nikikuuliza umeenda sokoni leo? Ndio. Umeuza? Ndio. Show me. You show me maybe an M-Pesa receipt. You show me maybe a transaction in the bank. That is the proof that you have actually sold. But profit, on the other hand, is just a surplus. Let's now look at, sometimes people think that kama nauza sana, if I'm really making high sales in my business, then it follows that I am making a profit. Not necessarily. You can make a lot of sales, lakini if you don't control your costs, haufinyi matumizi yako, you'll not be able to get a good profit. So there's a difference. Then there's a difference between profit and cash. And I know that you have been making profits in your business because tukichukua mauzo, tutoe matumizi, we'll be left with something. But now cash is the reality. And especially now in the face of COVID, all I need to do is to ask you, show me the cash that you have. So if you don't have cash, even if you're profitable, you'll not be able to run your business right now in the face of COVID-19. So I want to give you some strategies of what you can do to ensure that you are continuing to make profits in your business, and also that you are considering or you're conscious about having cash so that you can continue to run your business. So let's go to the next slide. The next slide, let's look at cutting down cost control. I'm going to share with you, kama uko na kalamu na karatasi yako, 3 strategies of how you can keep your eye on the ball, which is profit. Strategy number 1, cut down costs. Punguza matumizi yako. Strategy number 2, increase your sales. Ongeza mauzo. And we're going to look at strategies of how you can do that. Strategy number 3, this is in the face of COVID, is a good time for you to look at your pricing, relook at your pricing based on what the customer wants. So step 1, let's begin to talk about how we can control our costs. So the objective here is to control your costs. So maybe you're asking me, mwalimu umeniambia finya matumizi. Tell me exactly how I can do it. That's why I'm here. When you're strategizing on how to reduce your costs, step number 1 is to identify what are those costs in the first place. Please go to your chat box and tell me what you have been spending your money on. What have you been spending your money on in the last say 2-3 weeks. I'm very, very sure that money has left your pocket. That one I'm very sure. But the question is, what have you spent your money on? Please go to the chat box and tell me, what are some of the things you've been spending your money on in the last 2-3 weeks? I'm pausing to hear from you. Najua pesa imetoka mfukoni, but what have you been using that money for as a mwanabiashara? Thank you, Idris. Idris anasema, I have paid mishahara, salaries, and then also fuel. Thank you so much, Idris, for that. Anyone else? And I know if I give you even the whole day, hatuwezi kumaliza kusema what we have been spending our money on. Or can you? It's very important for you to know where the money is going. Thank you, Kenyanya. Kenyanya tells me I've been spending on salaries. PC, thank you. Sorry, allow me to call you PC. That's your ID. He says, I've been doing renovations. Mwingine, I've been paying steamer, electricity, rent, water, food utilities, fuel, and so on. So I'm glad that you are able to identify where your money is going. Sometimes when I tell people, please tell me what you've been spending your money on, they look at me and they have to think, what have I been spending my money on? It is very important that you track every shilling. Every shilling matters, especially during COVID-19. So you need to know, hii pesa inaenda wapi? Step number 1. So we can list all the possible, what you have been doing with your money. That is step 1. Step 2, now classify. Classify those expenses into various categories. Ama, kama uko na kikapu, tuko na vikapu 3 hivi. Ujaribu kuona, hii expense, hii matumizi, inaingia kwa kikapu gani. So in front of your screen, you can see 3 vikapus, ama 3 circles. The first one, we are saying you have to identify your overhead costs. So what is an overhead? An overhead is a cost that you will incur in your business, but it is not related to sales. So whether you sell or not, lazima utaendelea kulipa. What are some examples you have written for me? Examples of overheads are things like utility bills, things like rent, things like salaries. Those are examples of overhead. So what are we trying to do? We are trying to come up with strategies of how we can reduce. The objective here is kujaribu kupunguza matumizi. So take your rent, put in the first basket. Then what is the second basket? We are saying you need to, previous slide, you need to identify your material costs. So material costs ni vitu kama gani? Material costs are any costs that you incur in relation to your material. So for example, if you're in production, uko na materials fulani zile unatumia, let's say kama unashona face masks, you have to buy the fabric. You have to buy, the thread and so on. Those are the raw materials that you are using to process so that you can get your manguo ama masks alafu uuze. What about if you are a retailer ama you are a wholesaler? You will buy these items which you expect to sell to pass on to your consumer. You have to put them somewhere. Labda kuna store fulani unaweka hizo bidhaa zako hapo. It's not free. You'll have to pay for that space. That's what we're calling material costs. Also, depending on the kind of business that you have, sometimes what we are selling, sometimes also the costs of pilferage, zikiharibika ama zikiperish, that becomes a cost to you. Those of us who are in the service industry, like maybe training, for me, my raw materials would be papers, maybe manuals, vitu kama hizo. So that is an example of material costs. As you think through about all your expenses, if it is a material cost, weka kwa hiyo kikapu ya pili. The third kikapu there is what we are calling staff costs. Mifano ni kama hizi salaries. You've been telling me salaries, maybe wages, maybe bonuses, maybe commissions, vitu kama hizo. Once you look at all your costs and you have in the respective category, that will open your eyes to see where the possibilities for control come in. So we're saying, especially during this COVID-19, this time of COVID-19, you have to have your eyes open. See, where are my expenses going? Haggai.
Sarah, I'll mute you for a minute to mute everybody. Let me mute everyone. Kindly unmute yourself, Sarah.
Okay. Thank you, Haggai. Thank you so much. So what we are saying is, how can we keep our eye on the ball? What is the ball? Profit. So 3 strategies. Strategy number 1, control your cost. You cannot control your costs unless you know, number 1, what they are, number 2, which category they belong to, and then so that you can see clearly, then you can begin to push them down. Now that we have agreed that we need to push down our costs, I want to give you some strategies. Kama uko na kalamu na karatasi, I want to give you 5 strategies that you can use to push down your costs. Strategy number 1, next slide. Strategy number 1, next slide, okay, is where you identify. Wewe kama mwanabiashara, lazima ujiulize, which are my heaviest costs? Are my biggest costs? Gharama gani ziko na uzito katika biashara yangu? You need to answer that question. So maybe, for example, you might say, for me, my biggest cost is maybe where I have to put my goods, warehouse, kitu kama hiyo. Ama let's say the space that I operate in, that's the biggest cost. So for example, when ni mwanabiashara uko na ile kibanda yako na unalipa, let's say 10,000 shillings per month. What are we trying to do here? Cost as much as can work.
My apologies, Sarah. Let me mute everybody once again. Kindly put off your mics. Sarah, you can
Thank you, Haggai, for that. So, this is just part of COVID affairs, but thank you so much for coming so that we can learn together. So what we're saying is, what are some strategies that you can use to push down your costs? Strategy number 1, identify the biggest costs. Alafu jaribu kuzipunguza. So for example, kama ulikuwa unalipa 10,000 shillings kwa hiyo kibanda yako, unaweza kushikana na watu wengine kama 3 hivi. Muwe 4. So that way, you can, if you're putting your goods, maybe you're sharing the space, and now in the face of COVID-19, unajiuliza, what does the customer want? Because of restrictions in movement, the customers are now saying, can you bring it to my doorstep? Unaweza kuniletea nyumbani. Now, if that customer is not frequenting your business as much as they were before, unaweza kushikana na wale watu 3, alafu kila mtu alipe 2,500. What have you just done? You have reduced your costs from 10,000 shillings to 2,500 shillings. That's an example. Strategy number 2. Strategy number 2 says you need to identify what we call the low-hanging fruits. For example, if you're standing next to a tree, kuna mti fulani, and maybe you want to get a mango out of the tree. The tree is full of mangoes. Now, and I asked you, which mango is easier to pull down? Isn't it the one which is nearer your hand? Utaanza kutafuta ngazi, uanze kupanda pale juu, ndio uende kuchukua ile matunda iko pale juu? No, because of the associated risks. So for example, in your business, katika biashara yako, there is this expense that you pay called rent. How easy is it to push that down. It may be a bit difficult. It may be like the fruit at the top of the tree. So ask yourself, which are some of these expenses that I can begin to cut down now? So maybe some people would say transport. Maybe some people would say maybe journals, subscriptions, if you're into services. Maybe some people would say entertainment. You see, you need to identify what are some of the things that I can do easily. That's what we're calling the low-hanging fruit. Next slide. Strategy number 3. Next slide, please.
Connect.
Is where now you look at the fixed costs. Fixed costs. What are those costs which I will continue to pay whether I'm in business or not? So for example, you would say fixed cost maybe rent. We are okay, that's maybe we have already looked at that. Maybe utasema my staff, for example. Is there a way, unajiuliza, is there a way that I can cut down that cost, turn that cost into a salary, payroll, which maybe I might have to pay at the end of the month, or how can I cut that down? Here in Kenya, we have been seeing a situation because of the COVID-19. Unajipata kama mwanabiashara saa zingine unaambia some of your staff, si ati tumewachana, si ati nakufuta kazi, but please enda ukae nyumbani, and then when things get better, we can continue to do business. These are some of the strategies that we are being forced to do during the COVID-19. Number 2, try to find cheaper alternatives. During COVID-19 is a good opportunity for you sasa kuangalia, kufungua macho, and maybe you might discover some suppliers who can give you something at a friendlier price than what you're getting at the moment. Number 3, kama uko na vitu pale kwa biashara, some electronics, maybe some unused furniture, maybe some printer or something, you could sell them, and that extra shilling will help you to run your business better. Collating is where I was giving you an example of, teaming up as 4 people and then pushing down your costs. Try to reduce your overheads. For example, if you can subcontract, and you get somebody who can help you, to do that work, alafu unamlipa quarterly, it is cheaper for you than paying monthly. Reorientate your staff. Staff, of course, are very sensitive. Wengine tumekaa nao miaka na miaka, tumezoeana. So instead of, look at this staff and see how you can engage them. Kwa mfano, I have a friend who is a lawyer. And of course, she has her staff, this like a court clerk, you'd go to the registry and follow up on files and so on. But now those, offices have been closed now during the COVID-19, or the staff is very slim. I have seen this lady changing strategy in her business and now using this same court clerk to deliver some things to those types of customers. So look for creative ways of how you can use you can deploy your staff during this time. Strategy number 4 is where now you look at your variable costs. Hizo tunasema they shift according to your sales. So for example, ukiangalia zile bidhaa zako and they are not moving as fast. If you are in retail business, should you continue to order? Should you continue to buy? No. You try to synchronize what you can sell vis-a-vis what you are buying. You need to control that. Number 2, look at accounts receivable. Accounts receivable is what we call debtors. Angalia hizo accounts, and at this time of COVID, we are saying every shilling counts. Try to look for arrangements where customers pay you faster. In fact, ukideliver wanakulipa pale mlangoni, wanakufuata na M-Pesa, the better. Number 3, try to negotiate better terms with your suppliers because we are strained. Try to see if you can take, if you can agree for you to take a slightly longer time so that you can look for the money, alafu utamlipa. So we are saying, look at your variable costs, vitu kama energy consumption, working hours, na uone vile unaweza kupunguza matumizi. Next slide. In the next slide, we are now talking about wastes. And in our businesses, sometimes we have been so busy running our businesses that our eyes have not been open to see wastage. So if there's any way that you can save, for example, when you print, una print na karatasi moja pekee during COVID, unaanza kujiuliza, how can I cut down matumizi? Labda I can print on both sides. How can I cut down on the costs of course, entertainment, holding meetings and so on? Try to identify those costs and then cut them down. Next page. Now, as you're doing all this, unajaribu kupunguza matumizi so that you can get an extra coin. Now, one of our priorities as you are spending, utajiuliza what is a priority and what is not a priority. So for example, your loans, that is a priority. So unajaribu kujitahidi so that you can make these payments, but maybe for some reasons unapata unaanza kudefault. Delinquency is where you say haujalipa one payment. Lakini sasa ukiendelea, let's say in the month of March sikuweza kulipa, then April, then May, that's what we are calling delinquency. Sasa tunakuuliza wewe kama mwanabiashara, what are you doing? You need to contact your relationship manager at the bank. Don't just sit at home and keep quiet. Contact them and then try to see how you can repackage the payments. So there, what Corp Bank is saying in that building there is, we don't like surprises. Please be proactive. Kuja tuongee tuone how we can renegotiate these terms. Next slide. Next slide. Now that we have looked at the costs, tumeangalia mbinu ama strategies that you can use to cut down your costs. Number 2, we want to look at sales. Unaweza kuongeza mauzo yako aje? And I have some ideas to help you. Next slide. Number 1, in the face of, next slide, please. Next slide. In the face of COVID, the slide before, what we need to do is to leverage on social media, leverage on digital marketing. Maybe kwa hiyo biashara yako, what you used to do is to prepare flyers. You prepare flyers, mtu anakutolea design pale, and then you go, you print out flyers, unaenda unazibandika in places where customers frequent. Maybe that could have changed, and that could have affected your business. But what we are saying here, if customers cannot see you, when they are making their decisions about spending money, you can be sure they are not thinking about you and they'll not buy from you. So in order to increase your chances of getting income, number 1, make it easy. Be seen on those platforms, on Facebook, on WhatsApp, on YouTube, on LinkedIn, depending on the kind of business that you run. Make sure that you are visible in the eyes of the customers, and then make it easy for them to buy from you. How easy is it for them to buy from you? Number 2, take the goods to the customer. Number 3, make sure that it is easy for them to pay you. We thank God for M-Pesa. Give them your account details and let them deposit that money in your account. Try to see how you can reorganize your products, your services. Try to see if you can structure. We have been seeing a lot of business people. They are getting into partnerships with somebody who can do the border business so that I concentrate on selling and somebody else delivers to the door of the customer. And then try to see whether you can, use discounts, promotions. Maybe we are seeing, people giving gloves for free so that, they can move around in your shop better, ensure that people are safe, and at the same time, you continue to do business. Next slide. Strategy number 3, I want to talk about pricing. Pricing. It's very important that you think about how you're doing your pricing in the face of COVID-19. So we are saying that maybe you are expanding your product so that you give the customers what they want and what they need. And maybe kuna uwezekano you're now offering new things that you were not offering before. So the question is, how are you going about pricing? And perhaps the way you were pricing before, you may need to change that, or you may need to think about it. And I want to give you some considerations, some things that you need to think about. Next slide. Now, when you think about pricing, pricing can actually make or break your business. Pricing can block your vision and I know you are in business so that you can advance your business and your vision, you can either block it or you can propel it. How can you block the vision of your business? By overpricing, exploiting customers in the face of COVID, taking advantage of the fact that they are helpless and then overprice. I want to caution you, wanabiashara. Your customer will never forget the moves that you are making. Remember, we are watching you. And you don't want to traumatize customers who are saying, huyo, bure kabisa. That person really took advantage of us in the face of COVID. And so once business recovers, tutamkimbia. Avoid that as much as possible. So what other strategy perhaps could you do? Earlier on, I had said it is important for you to open your eyes and see if it is possible for you to get some things cheaper. If you are able to do that, then that means that you can push your price chini tu kidogo. Remember, at the end of the day, you must make a profit. Now, when you reduce your price kidogo, what is the effect of that? Because customers are very sensitive right now about pricing. Customers are very sensitive about the cost to their pocket. It means that you'll be able to sell more, and that works well for you. That's why you can see that graph increasing. Next slide. If you forget everything else that I'll teach you about pricing, next slide, you cannot afford to forget about what we are calling a diamond, a star. This is what we're calling the 5-faceted pricing model. Ama ni kama, of course, all of us want to be a star. Na ile nyota iko na pembe tano. So when you're thinking about pricing, you need to think about these 5 things. Number 1, you need to think about the cost. How much has it cost me to get this product, ama this service that I'm offering right now? So when you look at your cost, unapofikiria how much hiyo bei yako, how much am I going to price, you need to make sure that you consider the price so that you consider the cost so that the price is a bit higher and you're able to make a profit. Pembe ya pili, customer. This customer, as we have seen right now, the customer has changing needs. And maybe that customer doesn't want to move around. So anasema, niko na haja na kitu fulani, lakini unaweza kuniletea where I am. Like, for example, schools have closed. So is there a way you can bring this a solution to me where I am in the house? That's what we are saying, the customer. So for example, kama mtu anakuletea vitu pale mlangoni, when you charge that price and you are able to increase because of the cost of the boda, the customer does not really mind paying for that because of the convenience. Pembe ya tatu, we are saying product features. You need to consider what are the features of this new product. Like, for example, for me, I teach. And I was very, very used to teaching in the classroom setting. But now, because of COVID-19, Corona, things have changed. So I have to repackage my training or my service, my offering to you, the customer who has a need for training. But now I come up with something which is different. The product features of this training are different because maybe you would have met in a hotel somewhere. I would have had to pay for your tea. We eat mandazi, so on. But now the pricing goes down because the service that I'm offering has different product features. So for example, let's say wewe kama mwanabiashara, kuna vitu unauza pale kwa kibanda yako ama from your premises. And then now you have to deliver to me. To me right now in the face of COVID-19, please usiniwekee vitu kwa paper bag ile inafunguka na vitu zinaweza kumwagika, especially if it is food or something like that. So that means that for you as a business person, you might have to change your product differently. Labda package it in a way where it will be brought to me to my doorstep, yes, but please give me the assurance. Let me break the seal so that I can ensure that those goods are safe. So this is what we are saying. When you, for example, take that step to go that extra mile to make the product more friendly to me in the face of COVID-19, that will also have an effect on your price. And I don't mind paying a little more because you have gone the extra mile so that you can give me the things that I need in a way that I can see you are thinking about my safety. Number four, consider the competition. Consider the edge that you have. What is this thing that you can do and do better than the competition? So, for example, I have some friends. They are professionals. They are lawyers. Some of them are lawyers, some of them are auditors, and so on. Now, in the face of COVID-19, because we are not able to move around freely because of the associated risks, one of the things that we find easier is if those things kama chakula inaweza kuletwa nyumbani where I am. So what these ladies did is they came up with a very interesting innovation, and they set up a WhatsApp group wakaita Mama Mboga. Kwa hiyo Mama Mboga wakasema, why don't we think of linking the producers who are the farmers to now ourselves. You see, they are responding, they are coming up with a new need in the face of COVID-19. Now, when you consider, when we look at the prices, because we ask, nyanya ni how much, kitunguu ni how much, and all that, we're given a price. So when I look at those prices, I asked them, why are you pricing, why this particular price? And they told me, because that is the price that zucchini charges. So you see, they're able to charge the price a bit higher because of the competitive advantage that these lawyers have. What is a competitive advantage? The network. I have my friends who I can sell to, and they don't mind paying that extra price. So that's what we're talking. Competition. Unawashindia na nini? So that you can price. Then we look at also branding. Branding. Especially now, in the face of COVID-19, I'm encouraging you to use digital platforms. And when you go into those digital platforms, be conscious of whatever you are marketing, your goods and services. Make sure that we continue to see the brand of your business, of your products, of your services. Remind us to stay safe. Remind us to keep, safe in those branding messages. So those are some of the things that you need to think about. So when you go back to your business, think about what you're offering and try to see how perhaps you could relook at your pricing strategies based on these 5. Huwezi kuchukua pembe moja in isolation. Lazima uziangalie zote pamoja. Next slide. Next slide. Now, many things I have talked about. I've talked about cutting costs, strategies to cut costs, strategies to increase sales, and strategies also to consider your pricing. Na tumesema the price that you are setting, don't take advantage of customers. You need to consider whether to go up, and if you are to increase your prices, how far up can you go? And if you are to reduce, how far can you go? And you need to consider those 5 aspects that I've told you about. Now, we come to the stage now where we are saying, what are the options that I have available? Let's go to the next slide. I want to give you some ideas. As you think about the way forward, look at continuing. It is very important that we continue to stay in business. We continue to make that extra money. So I know some of us have been very affected. Like, I mean, hotel, hospitality industry, we've really been affected, ticketing and so on. So I know that we have all been affected. You have to think of how you can change perhaps your products in response to what the customer wants so that you can continue to operate even in this time. So think about continuity in operations. Think about supplies. Where am I going to? What is the source of my material? So, for example, if it is production, right now we know that we are suffering, because of the borders, because of the, access. Like, for example, to China, I know factories are now just beginning to open and so on. Consider the demand and the supply chain in your business, and make sure that whatever you're doing in business, that you will be able to continue to meet that need that the customer wants, not only now in the crisis, but also after. Consider changes in demand and supply. At the beginning, when we were being told this is COVID-19, this is how to behave, you need sanitizers, We saw some people taking advantage. Tulikuwa tunanunua sanitizers za 500 ml for 1,000 shillings. That was exorbitant. But now we are seeing, because the demand has gone down, bei imeshuka mpaka 400 shillings. So think about the effect of demand and supply. Think about the impact of your customers. Keep them safe. Keep your premises safe. Make sure that your people, also your personal wellness, your family, your employees, people are wearing masks, people are washing their hands often. Make sure that kama ni pale kwa your premises, that the social distancing, the arrows to help us to move. We want you as a business person have to assure us, or you have to do things that will make us, keep safe. And lastly, make sure that you guard your business reputation at this time. Make sure that you don't lose your name. Your name is what you have for your business. So next slide. Now we have come to the end of our webinar. Next slide. And a good place to end is where we began. And so we are asking, what did we want to do? And there are three main things that we wanted to address. Number one, profit and profitability. Is there a difference between those two? And then we wanted to see whether it is possible for a business to continue to make profits in the face of COVID. There are some people who believe it is not possible. But the reality is that you have to be strategic in the way you make your decisions. And then we looked at the options. So we said at the end of the webinar, you should be able to clearly tell what is the difference between profitability. Profit is like baby class. Profitability is now unaanza kupanda shule ya msingi and all that as the graph goes up, because you're becoming more efficient in the way you are running your business. We also said we want to understand, is there a difference between profit, sales, and cash? And we said, yes, profit is a calculation. Cash is the proof that I have sold a good or a service, and I can trace it to my books. But cash, and especially during COVID, cash is king. In fact, as you're running your business, the $1 million question is, do you have cash? You don't have cash. That will affect whether you'll be able to move forward or not. Then we looked at ways of how you can control costs and how you need to be very systematic. Identify the costs, group them into different categories. You'll be able to see clearly, and then now you start strategizing. Answer at the biggest costs. Maybe look at the low-hanging, what is easy for you to save immediately. Look at your fixed costs. Can you change them as far as you can in your business into variable costs? Look at those terms that you have with your suppliers, and look for wastage in your business. We looked at all that. Then we said mauzo. You want to continue kupepeta mauzo kwa biashara yako, and we looked at some of the strategies that you can do to respond to what the customer needs, and also to be proactive about making sales by leveraging on digital marketing platforms. And then we have finished off by looking at pricing. And we looked at the 5-facet pricing model, ama the 5-star. And we looked at each of those factors. You need to remember the cost, the customer, the competition, the product features, and also the branding. So let's go to the next slide. Now that we have talked about all those options, I know that you cannot make a decision now. Mpaka uende nyumbani, discuss na mtu, and then you get a way forward. So go think about some of the ideas that I have suggested to you. See what can work for your business. What can work, take it, run with it. What cannot work, iweke pale pembeni. Then discuss with key stakeholders and begin to develop plans. How am I planning to, if you don't plan to control costs, they won't be controlled. So what are your plans to control costs, to step up your sales, and also to changes that you may need to make in your pricing strategy? Once you have done that, it's good to make a plan, but you also need to execute it. Next slide. Next slide. This is a series of webinars that we are offering, and you have just gone through surviving today so that you can thrive tomorrow. One day, one time, COVID itaisha. So we need to see how to survive and then to thrive going forward to tomorrow. And then there are other webinars that we will be offering. They're there in front of you. Your relationship managers will reach out to you and they'll invite you when we are holding the next sessions so that you can come on board. Next one. There are some resources that we have developed for you, this one and the next slide also, which we have prepared a handout, and you will be given that so that you can, so don't worry about trying to copy high speed. Mtapatiwa hizo links, and please try to go into them and see how much you can get out of it. Next slide. And at this point, I want to hand over back to Moses Gitao. He wants to make some, to talk to you about what the bank is doing, and then we can take the next steps. Karibu sana, Moses.
Thank you, Sarah. That was a great delivery.
Yeah.
You can hear me now?
Yes.
I think I would want to share a few slides with my customers, the rest of us who are signed in terms of the support that the bank is offering. But just before I go to that, to say as a bank, we are committed to support entrepreneurs during this period to survive and navigate through the pandemic. And I think Sarah has mentioned a very important point in terms of staying in the business, continue staying in the business. As a bank, we are committed to support you to continue staying in the business during this period. And we have a number of initiatives that perhaps you'll be running from the bank side of it. Number one is that we'll have additional funding for those who would require to be funded. Number two, we are giving repayment holidays or restructure for customers who perhaps are struggling in terms of repayment. We do not have cash flows now. We are giving repayment holiday in terms of restructures. I think one other aspect which is very important is what we call relationship management. As a bank, we are committed to support through relationship management. And this comes through your relationship manager at the branch and your banker at the branch. We also have a lot of information that will be running through our website. I think as a fourth point, through such forums, the webinars that we are running. So we are committed as a bank to support our customers through information of how their businesses can survive and all those other things that perhaps the customers would require. Then to say, just take us back again is to say, as a bank on the CSR front, as a responsible corporate citizen, we have donated 100 million to the government kitty in terms of supporting purchasing the ventilators. So that is the CSR side of as a corporate organization in terms of supporting the government effort in managing the pandemic. But now specific to the specific support that we would want to offer to our customers, number one is on credit solutions. Credit solutions, which is now on the slide that I'm speaking, the slide that is showing on the screen, to say we have facilities like working capital facilities. And this would help you meet emerging or unforeseen needs. I know during this time we have customers who have very good business orders, who have come up with some needs that were not there. So as a bank, we'll continually support those who come up with any needs that were unforeseen or anything that emerges in terms of the new environment that we are facing in. We are now in. The second thing is we'll also do term loans. So in case there was an investment need that you are coming up with, the bank continues to support you as a customer. Asset financing, in case you identify an asset, I think we are saying we'll continue supporting our customers in terms of asset financing. Short-term facilities, these are the e-credit facilities. And what you are saying, through the MCOP cash facility, as a business customer, if you have a short-term needs, you don't need to come to the bank. The e-credit facilities are available 24/7 through your phone. So it's just a matter of registering through MCOP cash, registering your account and linking it to MCOP cash, which will help you in terms of accessing the facility. So this is the bank available to you on phone. We also support in terms of supply chain financing, which I think is critical for our customers to say, at this time we can link the buyers and your buyer and the suppliers. I think we are continuously doing that in terms of supporting our customers. Guarantees, billboards and tether boards, and even letters of credit. If you have any business that you are doing out there, If you want to tender for any business, as a bank, we continuously engage in terms of supporting you. So please present your request in terms of credit request to your relationship manager or your branch manager. They will guide you in terms of how then you go about it during this period. So what we are saying, all credit facilities are available for our customers in terms of the needs that perhaps you want to address. I think the second and a very important point is in terms of facilitating payments and transactions. Facilitating payments and transactions. I think in the environment we are in, we've been asked to keep a lot of social distancing. There have been issues of a lot of cessation and even I think some possible lockdowns. What you are saying, through the bank infrastructure, you should be able to transact and do the payments from the comfort of your phone through MCOP Cash. You have M correction that would help specifically those who have bulk payments, bulk receipts in terms of maybe rental payments, payments from suppliers. M collection would help you in terms of receiving those payments. We have revamped our COP online, which is internet banking, and again for this, for our customers, is to say, at the comfort of wherever you are, you should be able to run through COP online, through M collection, through MCOP Cash. POSs and PDQs also available. The point of sales machines also available. And for this, again, we are saying for our customers, feel free to use those ones. The money directly goes into your, terminate into your account. I think my last point in terms of payment and transactions. Hagai, I can hear some noise at the background. Maybe you could help us manage that. Thank you. I think the last point I was saying in terms of payment is collections through our agents, COP kwa jirani agents. We have a bank near you in this period of cessation and limited movements. We have a bank almost everywhere in the estates through an agent that will help you in a number of transactions, either paying out or paying in, and even meeting the payment for the bills and what have you. So make use of the COP kwa jirani agents in your estates, near you, near your businesses, so that you don't have to travel. Maybe if the branch is far away, you don't have to travel far away. You can transact through the COP kwa jirani agents. I think the final one in terms of payment is to say, we are also facilitating termination of Lipa na M-Pesa. The money you receive through M-Pesa, you can terminate it to your bank account through the facility of termination through Lipa na M-Pesa. It goes directly into your account as a customer. Maybe into the next slide, Hagai. I want to be specific to those customers who are listening to us today, and they have some running credit facilities. That is, if you are borrowing as a customer from Cooperative Bank, I would want to be specific to say what support I'll offer to you. The first support that I'm offering to these people, just as the rest of us, as I said earlier, is relationship management. And for this, the relationship manager will regularly engage you, finding out on the status, insights, and perhaps the support you required. So then the call to action here is to say, for my customers, ensure that you engage with your relationship manager, ensure that you engage with your banker, keep them updated. Just update them on the status of your business. I said earlier, if you have any needs in terms of credit, if you have any support that you require from the branch, from the bank, we are there to support you during this period. That is the assurance I can give you. But please ensure that your banker, your relationship manager, your branch manager is updated on the issues you are undergoing. In case is a support to do the restructure that I said, I think just keep your manager and the relationship manager updated in terms of the support required. The second support I'm offering to my customers who are running facilities is repayment arrangements. And I think for this is critical to say, as a bank, we are committed to do three things in terms of repayment arrangements. The first item is on restructure. The restructure, what you are saying, you are perhaps before COVID, you are making a certain amount of money. Now you are not able to meet that kind of sales on daily basis, on monthly basis, daily basis in this environment. What you're offering is that we will be able to restructure the facilities. And for this, again, what you are requesting is that please get in contact with your relationship manager, with your business bank, with your branch manager, help guide you on the restructure process. We're also giving repayment holidays for those who cannot pay complete anything for now. We are giving up to a period of 3 months repayment holiday. Again, in terms of action point, my request is that you see your branch manager, your relationship manager, to help you in terms of addressing the repayment holidays. The third thing that you are doing is reduced repayments to match the current business reality. And again, for this, you are saying you are generating 40,000 previously, but now you can only manage 20,000. So as a bank, you have said you will accept even that 20,000 as you normalize to get back to the 40,000 that you are paying previously. Again, in terms of that, would you want to see it will be important that you see your branch manager or your relationship manager to help you in terms of matching your current business reality to your own repayment. The third point, which again is quite critical, is to say, as a bank, you are also committed to do additional funding as per your business needs. As a bank, you are committed to do additional funding as per your business needs. So I think the environment team is challenging. However, it has come with several opportunities. A number of our customers are still positively impacted. And what you are saying, if you have business deals that you want to do there, we can give you additional funds based on the business needs. So don't shy away in terms of saying you just need to visit your branch. Don't shy away. We'll support you in terms of additional funding that perhaps will be required. My fourth point in terms of supporting my existing business borrowers is these kind of discussions that you're having, advisory tips through the MSME portal, the bank website, and also webinars like what you are running. So I think for my customers that are signed in, again, we are committed as a bank to continuously offer the business advisory tips and all those other things that we do with you as our customers. So again, I think as I leave that side, I would request that you engage with your relationship manager, engage with your branch manager, just to get them up to speed in terms of what you are going through and what support we can offer. Getting into this slide that is up here is the needs that as a business person, basically you have 3 needs. And for those 3 needs, what are you doing as a bank in terms of addressing? The first needs starts from transaction. Maybe Hagai, there's some background noise. I don't know where it's coming from.
Let me mute everybody. Moses, just a minute. Mute everyone. Moses, I'll ask you to unmute yourself.
Thank you, Hagai. So put up the slides in terms of the customer needs. And I think what you are saying as a bank, we are committed to meeting these 3 needs of our customers: the transactional, the payment and collections, and the lending solutions that perhaps the lending needs that the customers would have. Transactional, as the starting point, you have those 3 current accounts there that we call the gold, the silver, and the package. If you are not on any as a customer, I would request you to visit your branch, talk to your relationship manager so that you're onboarded on either of these packages based on the business volume. I wouldn't want to go into details of the packages, but they are very critical in terms of supporting your transactional needs now as a customer. So please get onboarded into any of those 3 packages as a business customer. They are all current accounts that will help you in terms of meeting your transactional needs. They come with a checkbook, they come with internet banking, they come with MCOP cash. All those solutions that I said will help you in terms of meeting your transactional needs. The second need of a customer is what we call the payment and collection solutions. And I think payment and collection needs for the customer. And for these needs, again, what you are saying, we have made it very easy for our customers to ensure that you correct and make your payments even within this period, this pandemic period, where we have social distancing and cessation in terms of movement. So if you are not registered on MCOP cash inasema ni bank kwa simu yako, bank mkononi. It gives you a lot of facility, transactions, payments, and even borrowing. I would request that you register on MCOP cash through your branch through your relationship manager, just to help you in terms of meeting the payments and collections. And by the way, it can help you even do payment of salaries, payment of suppliers. So let's ensure that we register on that. And collection, as I said earlier, would help you in terms of collecting, making collections, especially for the rental. Customers will be paying directly into your account. So through your relationship manager, through your banker, ensure you register under M collection. The new COP online, that is the internet banking. At the comfort of your desk, from your laptop, from your computer, from your phone, you'll be able to transact without necessarily visiting the branch. I think I'd mentioned about the COP Kwajirani agents, the Lipa and M-Pesa termination. So those solutions will help you in terms of paying or collecting your money out there, so that you are able to fund your account and fund your business as required. Lastly is now the renting solutions, which comes with after transacting, just before you move on there on that side, Agai, the renting solutions. That is, as a bank, we will continue offering those solutions that we offer: the unsecured terminals, the unsecured overdraft, and even the mobile facilities that we offer from the bank. Into the next slide, Agai. Please mute everything.
Sorry about that, Moses. Kindly unmute yourself.
Bring up my slide, my last slide. So then, in terms of our call to action as cooperative bank, who have organized for this forum in conjunction with IFC, is for my customers who are signed in. I would request you to engage your relationship and the branch manager for more information. I know we may not give everything, but my request is that please feel free to engage even ourselves here. Through Hagai, we'll share our contacts. Engage your relationship manager or the branch manager for more information regarding your facilities or even any other thing that you require. The second thing, which is very critical, is keep your relationship manager and the branch manager updated on the emerging issues in your business. This is the only way that you can help us to support you. So let's keep us updated. If you are undergoing any financial issues, please keep the banker updated, the branch manager updated, so that they are able to know how to support you. Please ensure you update the relevant people, the branch manager and the relationship manager. The third thing is present your repayment arrangements to your relationship manager. So bring out your repayment arrangements. If you have a running facility and you feel that you are struggling in terms of the cash flows, bring out the repayment arrangements and have that discussion with the branch manager. All our branch managers, all our relationship managers have been guided on how to handle your issues. Please present your arrangements so that it can be actioned based on the My fourth request in terms of call to action is to leverage on payment, transaction solutions, continuously bank and make payments. So don't hold on your banking, don't hold on your payment, you need to pay your suppliers. We have all those solutions. Leverage on those solutions. Hello?
Sorry, Moses. Let me mute everybody. Moses, you can proceed. I've muted.
Thank you, Agai. My second last point was on leveraging on payment and transaction solutions to continuously bank and make payments. We have solutions that you don't have to visit the branch. As our customers, my request is leverage on those payment solutions that you have there as a bank. Just help you continuously operate your accounts. And I think my final one is that I would want you to raise any new or additional funding needs, your relationship manager and the branch manager. We have guided all our branch managers, all our relationship manager, in terms of how they will come to your assistance in terms of the new funding and any additional funding that perhaps you require. Please raise your request out there. If you have any business needs that you want to go into venture into, I think bring them out to the teams. We are ready to support you. And then my final call is to all of us. Let's keep safe. So thank you so much. I would want to take this opportunity to welcome any questions, feedback, and perhaps I would want to start with questions. My bank,
Moses.
Yes, please.
Moses, thanks. This is Haggai. Remember we were on both on WebEx and YouTube. I've been following YouTube because they are not able to participate on the webinar. Just to highlight some of the few questions coming through through YouTube.
Yes.
A client is asking, does the restructuring applies also for credit cards? Another client is asking about when the repayment and interest rate, or rather the interest cost is more than the turnover. I think that you've already addressed. Another client is also worried about the collateral during the COVID period. I mean, you expect the property values to go down. So he's worried about foreclosure. So you can proceed with those as I collect the rest.
Thank you, Hagai. Very good questions. Credit cards, yes, they are considered for restructure, and I think that again we would request our customers to engage the relationship manager or the branch manager, so they qualify also for restructure. In terms of the interest, the structure, I think the second question was on collateral, not the second question was on collateral during this period. I think is to say for the existing borrowers, we'll use the existing collateral. So we're not asking for any additional collateral. You already have collateral with the bank. You are using the existing collateral to support you on the structure. If you're coming now in as a new borrower, we'll go through the normal process in terms of of securing your borrowing. But for the existing borrowers, you are using the existing collateral that you have given to the bank to support you in terms of restructure. Maybe Haga, you could repeat the second question. I didn't quite get the second one.
The second question, I think you had addressed it. A client was asking in a situation where principal plus interest is more than the turnover or the sales. So in such a case, I think you had said they should come through business bankers for restructure.
Yes.
Maybe one last question, Moses. A client is asking whether limited companies can also sign up on M Corp Cash.
Thank you. I think just to go back to the one of principal plus interest, where it overrides the current correction is where the customer then, I think the way I picked it is where the customer has reduced revenue compared to where they were before. And for that, what you are saying, we are willing to match the current revenue to the repayments. That is part of what you are restructuring. We are willing to match the current revenue to the road repayments. Limited companies availability to their corp cash. Yes, I can confirm they can also do it.
Hizo nataka dhati za nusu. Tengeneza hii yenye imeraruka. Ngoja ni.
Hagai, can you hear me?
Yes, so sorry, I've muted the participant. I think Moses can proceed.
Okay,
sorry about that.
As he proceeds, there's somebody who has also said in the chat box, your M-Corp cash is not working nowadays. That is Guya. So maybe as he continues, he can also tackle that one.
Thank you. I think I was answering on the principal plus interest. We are saying for this one, we should be able to match the current reality to their own requirements. So that customer is asking that, I would ask them to visit their branch, and we should be able to match the current business reality with their own repayment. The other one is on limited companies. For limited companies, yes, they can access Corp Cash through an appointed agent. And the process, again, is available in our branches. And we can also do, for that matter, they need to visit the branch. They can also do contact our contact center in terms of engagement on another usage of Cash, but a limited company. Okay. You may need to
Yes.
continue. I think there is a noise at the background. I'm not sure it can be heard.
Yes, Moses, they keep on unmuting. I'm so sorry about the experience. Kindly unmute and proceed.
Thank you. It's okay. I was saying the person asking about the limited companies. Yes, limited companies can also access Cash through an appointed agent. And my request is to that customer to talk to their relationship manager so that they can go through the process of registering under Cash. And Sarah, you asked about, you are saying Cash is not working. Maybe I would want to get specific because as we presented, I've run through it's working, but maybe if you have a challenge, then again, we could assist that customer. We can take that, we can ask them to give the details so that we fix specific to that customer.
Mr. Peter. Mr. Peter.
Yes,
Yes,
please.
someone is trying to.
Yes, this is David.
Okay, David.
Davis.
Yes, I was asking about the unsecured loan. Hello.
Please go ahead, David. We can hear you.
Yes, the unsecured loan. Up to how much can you give for the unsecured loan and the repayment period and the overdraft? What is the maximum?
Thank you, David, for that question. Unsecured facilities are categorized.
I can't hear you. Sir.
David, kindly mute your mic so that you can hear.
David,
Moses, unmute yourself. I've muted everybody.
Thank you, Hagai. David's unsecured facilities are categorized into three based on the package that you are in. So if you are on the gold package, you are on the silver package or the bronze package, you qualify for an amount up to 10 million unsecured facility, Kenya shillings 10 million. Of course, it's also pegged to the turnovers of the business, and we go for a period of up to 24 months. That is 2 years. In terms of the next question was the turnovers. So it's on the business turnovers. You appraise your business turnovers, and of course after that, depending on the package you are on, either the gold, the silver, or the bronze. And David, I don't know where you are calling from, but perhaps I would want you to talk to you. Maybe if I knew your branch, I could refer you to your branch manager or the relationship manager around there.
Tomorrow. Yes.
Thank you, David. I think the person you need to talk to there definitely will be Benson Mwaneki, my branch manager. Please talk to him immediately after this. But I would also pick your contacts here so that we can engage you further from this end to see what support we can offer on the unsecured facilities. Thank you, David.
Yeah, many thanks, Moses. I think there are a lot of there are more questions coming through. Some we may have to collate and reach out to clients through the contact center or through the business bankers. Maybe two last ones from YouTube. A client is asking that the Cash limits were withdrawn during the COVID period. Why? The last question is around interest. So if you give holidays on the principal, do you still charge interest? Over to you, Moses.
Thank you, Hagai. Cash, talked of Cash facilities over here. I think we had a slight challenge earlier, but that has been restated. They could test now. It was restated like 3 weeks ago. We are already renting Cash, so it's restated. We had a slight challenge, but that was restated. In terms of interest, what I can assure is that the support you're offering is both on P plus I, but we're also looking at case by case depending on the customer ability, the customer current reality, but we are supporting on either both in P plus I, or we are supporting also on P alone. But it also depends with the customer reality, which is very important for the customer to bring out the reality to the banker or the relationship manager who is close to them. Thank you, Hagai.
Sarah, over to you.
Thank you, Hagai. We really want to appreciate you taking the time to come on board. And I don't know whether Moses, perhaps would you have some closing remarks just to declare the webinar officially over?
Sarah, before that, Moses, so sorry, before that, we'll send out a feedback form either through SurveyMonkey or through a Word document. Kindly help us fill that feedback form to help us, understand how the training was. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah, too. I think mine is to say, to really appreciate the participants for taking time out of your busy schedule to just listen to us in the diocese. It was quite insightful in terms of even the questions that have gone through, the questions that have been asked. Our commitment as a bank, as I said, is that we'll support all our customers during this period, both the borrowing and the non-borrowing. We want to support you. Please engage us. Thank you, the team, for facilitating this. It was quite insightful. Excellent delivery. I think based on the participants, the kind of interactions that are still here, I think we are running for more.
I'm sorry, Moses, I muted you. Kindly unmute.
Thank you. I was saying thank you, Sarah, for that excellent delivery. And I was saying in terms of the future plans is to say we'll be arranging for more of such forums, webinars, and to our customers, ensure that perhaps you sign into the next one because you have very exciting topics that we'll be discussing in the course of these webinars. You are very exciting topics that will be. That you also share feedback with us, but more importantly, I would want you to visit your branches, your relationship manager, so that you get more insights in terms of the support that the bank is offering. Thank you, Sarah.
Sarah, there's one last question here regarding the next training. So a client is asking, Charity is asking how to sign up for the next training.
I think if we take it, you are saying we'll also invite them through the branches, through their emails. But I think through this call they can also sign in to say to express that interest. But we'll advise on the next date and the topic that you'll be covering. But we have very exciting topics that have been lined up for this discussion. Thank you, Hagai.
Thanks, Moses, and to all, kindly note that you can access the webinars through WebEx or YouTube. I see quite a number of clients who joined through YouTube, and we are able to track your feedback on both platforms. Many thanks, and Sarah, over to you.
Guy, I wish you all the very best, Wana Biashara. As we are in this together, we continue to walk this road together. Just implement what we have learned, and I'm sure it will take your businesses forward. I wish you all the very best and God's blessings. Have a good day, and feel free to leave anytime from now. You can just exit by clicking the red button, and then you can proceed with your other business ventures. Asanteni sana.